8.6 solving rational equations. Let's go through this worksheet. So find the LCD of each following equations. So remember, find LCD is a lot like find LCM. Like you want to go, okay, I'm going to take one of each, and if there's more than one, you take the highest one. So like in the first one, I need x minus 3. Well, there's two of them, both the same power, so x minus 3 would be fine. And I need an x by itself. So there's my LCD. Next one, so I need x plus 3. Now I have 6 and 18 there, so I got to figure out what the smallest thing that 6 and 18 both go into. And they actually both go into 18, sorry. Both go into 18. If you want to do the break it down method, 18 is 6 times 3. And this is just 6, so you need one of each. So I need a 6 and a 3, so I need 18. Over here, we're going to factor this up before we decide. So I need to factor a squared plus 7a plus 10. Two things that multiply to get 10 by adding get 7 is 2 and 5. LCD, I need one of each. I need a plus 2. So I need a plus 2 and a plus 5. So it's just like when we added them, but now it's an extra problem we actually got to solve. So it's the same concept though. So let's solve. So we just this one. Hey, I know what the LCD is. We just did it. It is 18x plus 3. I'm going to do it kind of like what we did before. I'm just going to rewrite it, everything with the LCD. So 18x plus 3, 18x plus 3, and 18x plus 3. So we go, okay, I have x plus 3. How do I get 18? Well, I'm going to multiply both top and bottom by 18. That'll get me 32, 3, 72. The middle term, I only have 6. I need to get to 18x plus 3. So I can multiply both top and bottom by 3 to get to 18 and the x plus 3. So 3x plus 3. I'm just going to write 15x plus 3 right here. Take it a step at a time, right? 3 times 5 is 15, and then I'll eventually multiply by x plus 3. On this side, I have 18. I need to get x plus 3, so just multiply by x plus 3. And I get 23x plus 3. So now what we do, since we're solving and we have all the same denominators, all we have to do is solve the numerators. So that's all we have to do is solve this. I'll distribute. I get 72 plus 15x plus 45 equals 23 plus 69. Right, so this distribute. This times this equals this times this. So now I just got to solve. There's an x here I'm missing, sorry. There I go. So right, got the x's on one side, preferably this side, and get the y's on this side. So I'm going to simplify a little bit first though. Let's see, that's 117 plus 15x equals 23x plus 69. So minus 69 minus 15. I get 8x equals 8. See, that'd be 70 to 120 minus 4. 70 to 120 is 50 minus 4, so 46. And then subtract 48, sorry. And then subtract, then divide by 8. And I get x equals 6. And that'll be my answer. Now you do want to make sure that there's not an issue. Look at my original problem. What's my one restriction? I can't be -3. So I didn't get -3, so I'm good. So x is 6. You do want to plug it and check your work, but it works. So look at this one. Next one, same deal. We're going to factor. So let's factor x squared minus 13x plus 42. I need two things that multiply to get 48, but add to get 13. How about x minus 7 and x minus 6? All right, algebra 2, a lot of times it'll just be these two. I'll put my restrictions right now, right? I cannot be 7 or 6, right? 7 or 6, I'll be divided by 0, so I can't be those. Now look at the common denominator. In this case, it'll be x minus 7, x minus 6, x minus 7. It's going to be all that. Save some space. I'm not going to rewrite it. I'm going to do it right here. So this is my LCD, right? X, one of each. X minus 7, 1 of 6. So it's this guy. So what's this guy missing that this guy has? It's missing the x minus 6. Right? Now it matches. Well, what's this one missing that this guy has? The x minus 7. And now all the denominators are the same. I just got to solve the numerator. That is a minus right here. I don't want to miss the minus. There we go. So I have 9 times x minus 6 minus 7 x minus 7 equals 13. So just like before, once you get that, simplify. 9x minus 54 minus 7x plus 49 equals 13. Simplify, so I get 2x minus 5 equals 13, plus 5 plus 5, 2x equals 18, divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals 9. And again, is it one of my restrictions? No, it's not, so my answer is 9. Next one, we're going to do this a very similar way. Let me erase that so I have some space to write. Right, instead of like rewriting, taking like extra steps, I'm just going to simple factor, and then we'll try to figure out what the common denominator is. So I need to factor y squared plus 7y plus 12. Well, it's going to be y plus 3, y plus 4, right? 3 times 4 is 12, 3 plus 4 is 7. And look, it matches the other side. This would be my LCD, right? That's something that they all have in common. So what's this side missing that guy has? The 4. So I'll multiply by y plus 4. Same idea here. I was like, okay, it's only y plus 4. I need to have a y plus 4 and a y plus 3. I'm missing a y plus 3. Once the denominators are all match up, just add this solid top. So you get 13 y plus 4 minus 12 y plus 3 equals 18. Right, and I should have done the restrictions actually, so I know if I have any problems. My restrictions here are going to be negative 3 and negative 4. So if I get negative 3 and negative 4, it's not good. Anyway, let's solve. Distribute, that is 13y plus 1252 minus 12y minus 36 equals 18. So I get y, that's 16. Yeah. Y plus 16 equals 18 minus 16. Y equals 2. Again, not one of my restrictions, so I'm good. To the next problem. Same idea. Let's factor first. And that's going to be x minus 2, x plus 1. To think we'll probably get negative 2, but I have to get 1. X minus 2, x plus 1, sorry. Right, so now look at what's my LCD? X minus 2, x plus 1. So I just got to look over here and go, okay, what do I need to multiply x minus 2 by to make it that LCD? It's missing the x plus 1. And over here, it's missing the x minus 2. And I should go my restrictions before I start, just to make sure. Remember, it's all about what's the denominator. What can you not be? You can't be 2, and you can't be negative 1. So those two would be bad answers. Anything else should be okay. Now that we have all the denominators all set and equal, I just have to solve the numerators. So I have x plus 1 times 14 minus 18 times x minus 2 equals 22. So distribute 14x plus 14. Distribute minus 18x plus 36 equals 22. Simplify down first. Negative 4x plus 50 equals 22. Minus 50. Negative 4x equals negative 28. Divide by negative 4. X equals 7. Now restrictions are all good. So there we go. Next one. Last one on this page. So on this one, notice how there's a 2 there. We want to make it a fraction, so we're going to make it 2 over 1. So now, same idea. What's my LCD? Well, it has to be y minus 2 because that's over there. And I need a number. Well, 1 and 6 is 6. So that's my LCD. So I got to get the same LCD for all of these. So the first one here, what's missing? Just the 6. So top and bottom by 6. The middle one is just a 1 on the bottom, so it's missing all of it. It needs a 6 and the y minus 2. And then the right one here, it's missing, it has 6, but I don't have the y minus 2, so I multiply by y minus 2, y minus 2. So I get 30 plus 6y minus 2. And actually, my mistake, 12, right? It's 2 times 6 is 12 times y minus 2. 5 times 6 is 30. And then 7 times y minus, and then over here 17 times y minus 2. My only restriction, by the way, would be 2. I can't be 2, right? Because I'd make it a 0 right there. Other than that, let's just solve it. Distribute. 30 plus 12y minus 24 equals 17y minus 34. Let's see, this is 12y plus 6 equals 17y minus 34. Minus 12y minus 12y plus 34 plus 34. And I get 40 equals 5y. 5 by 5. Y equals 8. So again, not the restriction, so we're still good. That's my answer. Okay, this page is all about application problems. Start with this first one here, chemistry. How many milliliters of a 20% acid solution must be added to 40 milliliters of a 75% acid solution to create a 30% acid solution? So I think most people do this in a table. And you kind of want to do, let's see, it's value percent total. So we're having 3 things here. This is the 20% acid, the 75% acid, and we want to make a 30% acid. Alright, so the value is this value amount, not percentage, sorry. In my head I was like, that something's wrong. That's kind of always the same theory. It's value amount and total. It's kind of the table here, and this is what we're talking about. So what's the value of 20% acid? Well, we're asking how much acid is there, so 20%. What's the value of 75% acid? Well, 75%. And then this would be 30%. What's the amount? So let's look at the question. How many milliliters of 20% acid must be added to 40 milliliters 75% acid? So we know this is 40. We're asking how much this should be. Now when I add this plus this, I'm going to get a total down here of 40 plus x. Right, so the value, the amount, how much of this thing are we adding to this thing to get a total of this thing? And then the total, the way we get the total is we multiply these two to get this guy. So we just multiply across. So 0.2 times x is 0.2x. 0.75 times 40, so 0.75 times 40. And then this one right here is 0.3 times 40 plus x. I was trying to erase because it was hard to see. There we go. So like that. And then what you do at the end here is always the same thing. You're adding these two up to get this guy. So it's always this guy plus this guy equals this guy. So in our case, 0.2x plus 0.75 times 40 equals 0.3 times 40 plus x. So it's always the same thing. And then we just simplify. So let's see, 0.2x, 40 times 0.75, I'll do 0 times, so I'm going to get 0. 4 times 5 is 20, 28, 30, and then 2 decimal places, right, because 1, 2 things beyond the decimal, so 2 things beyond the decimal. And then over here I get 0.3 times 40, so that's 12, but 1 spot beyond the decimal. Sorry, that's 120. But 1 spot beyond the decimal, and then plus 0.3x. Like that. And then we do what we always do. I'll maybe rewrite so it's a little easier to see. Right, then we do what we always do. Solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 0.2x from both sides and subtract 12 from both sides. So I get 18 equals 0.1x. Divide by 0.1, and then you split over and you get 180. So I need 180 milliliters of the 20% solution to make this a total of 30% solution, acid solution. So there we go. The next one's a work problem. This is one we're most likely to see in a quiz or test, is a work problem. So Brian's volunteer group can build a garage in 12 hours. So Brian's volunteer group's rate is 1 garage in 12 hours. Sequoia's group can build in 16 hours. So Sequoia's group is 1 garage in 16 hours. That's their rate. How long would it take them to work together? Well, working together, you just add them up, and equals 1 over x. Right? So since they're working together, you add them up, and then what's the rate together? So 1 over x. So you could build 1 garage in 12 hours, 1 garage in 16 hours. If they work together, it's 1 garage in how many hours? So that's the equation. Then we solve like we always solve it. In this case, I'd find the LCD. What do 12, 16, and x go into? Really, the problem is 12 and 16. So 12 and 16 both go into what? Let's see. I'm going to break it down. That's 6 times 2, and that's 2 times 3. So 2 squared times 3. 16 is 2 to the 4th. So it's 2 to the 4th times 3. Like one of each separate thing. So 16 times 3 is 48. So they both go into 48. That's my LCD and the x. So they both go to 48x. That's my LCD. So we do what we always do. Solve it like a normal problem. So how do I get this to be 48x? How do I get this to be 48x? How do I get this to be 48x? Well, to get from 12 to 48, you multiply by 4x. Right? I have the 12, but I need to get a 48. To get 6 to be 48, times it by 3x. Again, I have 16, but I need to get to 48x. And to go from x to 48x, you times it by 48. Once you have that, you just solve the numerators. And you get 7x equals 48. Divide by 7. And you get some decimal, 48 over 7. Usually most time it's a decimal. It's not like a nice answer. That's how long it takes them to work together. Judy wants to invest 10 grand into 2 different accounts. The risky account could earn 9% interest, while the other account could earn 5% interest. She wants to earn 750 interest for the year. Of tables and graphs or equations, choose the best representation needed and determine how to invest each amount. So a lot of people like to do this with a table. So it'll be kind of the same thing as the one we did before. Right, we have, let's see, we're doing 3 things. We have the value, the amount, and the total. We have 9%, 5%, and the interest we want. Now this interest is a little weird because we just know we want 750. We don't care about the rest of it. Just, hey, we want 750 at 300 interest, so that's the total. 9%, well, the value is 9%. 5%, value is 0.05%. The amount is where it gets a little tricky. So they tell you a total of 10 grand. So I don't put 10 grand and 10 minus, I don't have to put 10 grand here. What it is you make one of them x. Then you make the other one 10 grand minus x. Right? So if you have 10 grand total, well, if one of them is x, the other one must be 10 grand minus x. Then how do we get the total? Remember, we always multiply across to get this. It's always this guy times this guy equals this guy. So 0.09x. Over here, I got 10 grand minus x all times 0.05. And remember the way this works? This guy plus this guy equals this guy. It's always the same thing. So we're going to have 0.09x plus 0.05 times 10 grand minus x equals 750. Simplify. This should be an x. There we go. 0.05x times 10 grand is 5,000,000, and then 2 decimal places, so right there. So $500 minus, oh, it's only 0.5, not 0.5x. So sorry about that. $500 minus 0.05x, 0.09x is right there, equals 750. Simplify. 0.04x, subtract 500, equals 250. Like that. I gotta do something about behind. You can use a calculator. I'm gonna use a calculator right now, actually. So now we have to divide by 0.04. So x equals 250 divided by 0.04. And we get 6,250. So that's going into the 9% account. So 9%, we should invest $6,250. That means that the 5%, we should invest the rest of it. So 10,000 minus that, which would be 3,750. So that's how much we should invest if we expect to get that much interest in a year. Last problem. Each year, the junior and senior class of the Hillcrest High School build a house for the community. If it takes the senior class 24 days to complete a house and 18 days if they work the junior class, how long would it take the junior class to complete the house if they work alone? So against the work problem, this is what you're most likely going to see in the quiz and test is the work problems. So we have a senior and junior class, and they have if they work together. They give you the senior rate, right? They can build one house 24 days. Now, they don't tell you what the juniors could do, but they tell you that if they work together, you get one house in 18 days. And we're looking for how long would it take the juniors alone. So the juniors are actually the variable here, 1 over x. And we always have it the same way. Add these together to equal those, to equal that one. So in this case, I know how much it is, how fast it is if they work together. I don't know how much the juniors do by themselves. You put the x there. Other than that, the same thing. Let's find the LCD. I gotta go what the 24 and 18 both go into. I'm not sure. I'm gonna do the breakdown method. So that's 2 times 12, 2 times 6, 2 times 3. So this is 2 cubed times 3. 18 is 2 times 9, 3 times 3. So this is 2 times 3 squared. Right, if I want to find the LCD, it's just take one of each, and then if they're both the same, take the bigger one. So I have 2 2s. Take the bigger 2. I have 2 3s. Take the bigger 2. So it's 2 cubed times 3 squared, also known as 8 times 9, which is 72. That's my LCD. Oh, and then don't forget the x. Right, so things that 24 and 18 both go into is 72x. So let's just multiply. Let's do the shortcut. Let's multiply everything by 72x. And the benefit of multiplying by LCD instead of trying to get the same denominators, this makes it a little faster. Right, so if I distribute this to here and to here, 72 divided by 24, I believe is 3, so 3x. 72x times 1 over x, well the x's would cancel out, so you just get plus 72. Over here, 72x divided by 18. 17 equals 18, what is that, 4 times? Yeah, 4 times. So 4x. So we get this. Now it's just a math problem. Subtract x from both sides, 3x from both sides. I get 72 equals x. It'll take the juniors 72 hours to build a house alone. Man, they suck compared to the seniors. But that's the idea.